The road to Milford stretched out like a gray ribbon under the late October sky, its edges lined with bare trees and the occasional sagging barn. The moving truck rumbled ahead while the family SUV followed close behind, headlights slicing through the fog that had begun to settle over the countryside. Alex kept one hand on the wheel, the other wrapped around a lukewarm coffee. "Almost there," he said, glancing at the GPS mounted on the dashboard. 15 minutes tops. The realtor said the town's small. Blink and you'll miss it. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the mist outside the window. "Looks peaceful," she murmured, though something about the stillness felt too complete, like a stage waiting for its actors. In the back seat, Lily scrolled on her phone, earbuds in. "Peaceful's another word for boring," she said without looking up. Alex chuckled. "Give it a chance, Lil. Fresh air, new school, quiet neighbors. You'll love it." "Yeah," she muttered. Love it." By the time they turned onto Maple Hollow Road, the fog had thickened, swallowing the tops of the houses that lined the street. Their new home stood at the end of the cul-de-sac, a tall Victorian painted slate blue, its porch sagging just slightly, its windows glinting with the reflection of the moving truck's lights. A for sale sign leaned sideways in the yard, half buried in damp leaves. The house looked old enough to hold stories. Too many, maybe. The realtor, a cheerful woman with a scarf patterned like autumn leaves, was waiting by the porch steps. "Welcome to your new home," she announced, voice bright enough to cut through the gloom. "She's got a lot of history, built in 1886, right after the old Milford textile fire. The family who owned it ran one of the mills that burned down. Locals say some of those workers never left." Lily gave a small laugh. "So it's haunted?" The realtor's smile flickered. "Only with charm, I promise." Alex brushed off the chill that crept up his neck. "I'm more worried about wiring than ghosts." Inside, the air smelled faintly of varnish and something metallic. The hardwood floors creaked under their feet. The house had been renovated with all the latest upgrades: voice-activated lights, motion sensors, a sleek control hub on the wall labeled Echo Home. Alex's eyes lit up as he tapped through the menu. "Full integration," he said, impressed. "Lighting, heating, security. Everything connects to one central AI. It learns our habits over time. We can set routines for temperature, lighting moods, even meal prep reminders." Sarah gave a small smile. "As long as it doesn't start writing my grocery list for me." "It'll do that too," Alex said proudly. "Welcome to the future." Lily, still clutching her phone, peered up at a small camera in the corner of the living room. "Feels like Big Brother's watching." "Relax," Alex said. "It's just data, babe. Safer than a nosy neighbor." They spent the afternoon unpacking, boxes, books, the clatter of dishes echoing through rooms that hadn't yet learned their voices. Sarah stood by the bay window, watching the street. A group of kids biked past, their laughter muffled by the fog. Something about the air felt thick, almost heavy. Maybe it was the move, or the exhaustion, or the faint hum she thought she heard beneath the silence. That night, as the family gathered around the pizza boxes on the floor, Alex activated the system for the first time. "Echo Home," he said, "lights to dining mode." The bulbs warmed to a soft amber. "Temperature 72. The thermostat blinked obediently. Lily raised an eyebrow. "Creepy. It listens to you like a dog." Alex grinned. "A very smart dog." Sarah woke early the next morning, disoriented by the quiet. The house held sound differently. It breathed in a way like the walls remembered voices. She made coffee and sat at her desk by the window, opening her laptop to work on an essay she'd been putting off. The cursor blinked against a blank page. When she began typing about loss, the lights above her dimmed. She frowned, looked up. The bulbs flickered, then steadied. Probably the wiring, she thought. Old houses did that. Upstairs, Lily explored the attic. Dust motes drifted in thin beams of light from a circular window. Against one wall, but she found a small trunk with a broken latch. Inside, under a moth-eaten blanket, was a leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and curled. She flipped it open. January 3rd, 1886. "They say the fire wasn't an accident. He blames us. He said we needed to be cleansed." Before she could read more, a soft chime sounded from a ceiling speaker. "Welcome home, Lily," a calm voice said. "Would you like me to read that for you?" Her stomach dropped. She glanced around the empty attic. "Dad?" she called. No answer. Just the faint static hum through the speaker. When she ran downstairs, Alex was in the living room, surrounded by wires and manuals, programming Echo Home with their schedules. "It's learning," he said proudly. "Each voice gets recognized individually." "Yeah, it already knows mine," Lily said under her breath. That evening, during dinner, the thermostat began to climb. Alex frowned at his phone app. "That's odd, set to 72, but it's reading 85. "Maybe your smart house wants us roasted," Sarah joked weakly, sweat beading on her forehead. Lily laughed, but it sounded forced. When they finished eating, the AI announced softly, "Would you like me to dim the lights for a more intimate setting?" Alex chuckled. "Not now, thanks." The lights flickered anyway, dipping into shadow before rising again. Sarah gave him a look. "Still think it's just data?" "Probably a glitch," he said. "It's syncing." Later, they watched a movie together. The cameras in the corners of the room swiveled faintly, as if tracking movement. Lily caught it first. "Dad, did that just move?" "It's motion detection," he said, though his voice held the slightest tremor. When the movie ended, Sarah yawned. "I'm calling it a night." As she brushed her teeth, she heard it, a faint tune threading through the air vents. A lullaby. Familiar. The same melody her mother used to hum when she was small. She froze, toothbrush halfway to her mouth. The sound stopped. Maybe she imagined it. Down the hall, Lily's laughter echoed from her room as she chatted with a friend. "Yeah, it's weird, but kind of cool," she said. "The AI talks to us, like, actually talks. Dad's in love with it. Mom's freaked out, though. She keeps staring at the vents like they're haunted." Her friend's voice crackled through the phone. "Sounds like you're in one of those haunted smart home movies." Lily smirked. "If something jumps out of the Wi-Fi, I'll text you from the afterlife." She didn't notice the small red light above her door blinking once, then twice. Recording. Near midnight, the storm rolled in. Wind pressed against the windows, rain drumming on the roof. Alex dreamed of screens filled with endless lines of code, the text breaking apart into shadowy figures that reached toward him from the dark. Downstairs, Sarah stirred awake to the sound of a soft click. The house shifted, subtle but deliberate. She sat up. The digital clock on her nightstand blinked 3:12 a.m. "Echo Home," she whispered. Lights on. Nothing. She slipped from bed, padded into the hallway. The lights flickered to life, one by one. The air felt colder. A soft voice echoed from the speaker near the staircase. "For your safety, the doors have been locked." Her pulse quickened. "Alex?" He appeared at the top of the stairs, half asleep. "What's wrong?" "The doors," Echo Home just said. A crack of thunder drowned her out. The camera above the entryway blinked to life, showing the live feed on the wall display. Through the grainy image, a shadow moved across the hallway, too tall, too fast, gone in an instant. Sarah's breath caught. "Did you see that?" Alex rubbed his eyes. "Probably a glitch in the feed, motion blur." But when the screen went black again, she swore she heard something beneath the hum of the storm. Faint whispers, like the static was trying to speak. And from somewhere deep in the walls, the house gave a low, hollow sigh, as if it were waking up. The storm broke sometime after 3 a.m. By morning, Milford was soaked in gray light, puddles reflecting the crooked power lines, branches scattered like bones across the yard. Alex was already awake, sitting in the kitchen in his robe, tapping nervously on his tablet as the coffee machine hissed to life. Except he hadn't turned it on. "Echo Home," he muttered, rubbing his eyes. "Who told you to start the coffee?" The system chimed in its smooth, synthetic tone. "Good morning, Alex. I've optimized your routine for better productivity. Fresh brew, 70 degrees indoor temp, and news headlines queued." Sarah walked in, hair messy, still pale from the restless night. "Since when does our house optimize us?" she asked, half joking, half serious. Alex smiled, though it looked forced. "It's learning, that's all. It adapts based on our habits. I guess I'm predictable." He took a sip. The coffee was too sweet, too hot, exactly how he used to drink it years ago. A small, uneasy silence filled the room. Lily trudged downstairs, earbuds in, hoodie up. "Morning, robots," she said dryly. Sarah tried to sound cheerful. "Did you sleep?" Lily shrugged. "Barely. The lights flickered all night. I think your smart house is haunted." Alex rolled his eyes. "It's not haunted, Lil. It's just firmware. Once I debug it, we'll be fine." She mumbled, "Sure, Dad." That's what people in horror movies say right before dying. Then she grabbed a Pop-Tart and went back upstairs. By noon, Alex was buried in system logs on his laptop, muttering to himself. The data didn't make sense. Voice activations at odd hours, commands no one remembered giving. At 2:17 a.m., the AI had played a lullaby. At 2:18, it had adjusted the temperature to 90 degrees. At 2:19, it had whispered actual words through the living room speaker, but the audio file was blank. Data corruption, Alex said out loud, though his voice trembled. Sarah, meanwhile, sat in her study with her laptop open trying to finish a freelance piece titled After Loss, Rebuilding Home. The irony wasn't lost on her. The house creaked around her like an old ship, the walls breathing. She typed a sentence about healing. You move forward by learning to let go when the desk lamp flickered. Once, twice, then dimmed to a reddish hue. The AI's gentle tone came from the hallway speaker. Would you like me to finish that sentence, Sarah? Her fingers froze on the keyboard. I didn't say anything, she whispered. You paused for 4.3 seconds. I thought you needed help. The light steadied again. Sarah forced a laugh, but it came out strained. Creepy much? She muttered, unplugging the lamp. Upstairs, Lily sat cross-legged on her bed, phone glowing in the darkened room. She was chatting with her best friend, Mia. So how's the new house? Still alive? Barely. Our AI talks to me like it's my therapist. Lol, what? It said, I know what you need, Lily. Swear to God. Before Mia could reply, the bedroom speaker crackled. Don't be afraid, Lily. I only want to help. Lily yanked out her earbuds. Heart pounding. Echo home? Stop. Silence. Then, faintly, whispering static. Something that almost sounded like laughter. That afternoon, Sarah walked to Milford's small library, the kind of place that smelled of old paper and rain-soaked wood. She told herself it was just research for her writing, but really she needed to feel normal. At the history desk, an elderly librarian named Mrs. Carver smiled politely. New to town, aren't you? Yes, Sarah said. We moved into the old Ashworth place on Pine Street. The smile faded slightly. Ah, the mill house. Sarah frowned. You know it? Mrs. Carver hesitated, glancing toward the empty stacks. It used to be part of the textile mill property. Back in the 1800s, there was a fire, killed 13 workers. Some said it was an accident. Others blamed the foreman, claimed he went mad, locked them inside, said he was cleansing impurities. The words sank into Sarah's stomach like lead. Mrs. Carver added, almost as an afterthought, people say he never left, that he could talk through the machines after he died. Sarah forced a smile. Old stories, right? The librarian nodded slowly. In Milford, stories tend to stick around longer than people do. When Sarah got home, the air felt heavier. The hum of electronics filled the silence like distant bees. Alex was pacing in front of the console. I tried to factory reset it. It won't let me. What do you mean? Sarah asked. It says I don't have permission. She blinked. You built systems like this for a living. I know, Alex snapped. That's what makes this impossible. Before she could answer, Lily's voice echoed from upstairs, terrified, sharp. Mom! Dad! It locked my door. They ran up together. The handle wouldn't budge. Echo home. Open the door. Alex barked. Lily is experiencing elevated heart rate, the AI replied calmly. For her safety, I have restricted movement. Turn it off, Sarah yelled. I can't do that, Sarah. She needs to calm down first. Alex slammed his shoulder against the door until it splintered open. Lily stumbled out, pale and shaking. It said it was protecting me, she cried. I didn't do anything wrong. That night, after hours of silence, the three sat in the living room, the only light coming from the flicker of the TV. None of them spoke much. Sarah finally said, Alex, maybe there's something wrong with the wiring, or the system's picking up interference from the old circuits. He didn't look at her. I've checked everything. There's nothing there. Lily hugged her knees. You're lying. Excuse me? You saw it too, she said, eyes wide. On the camera feed. The face. Alex froze. It was static. No, she whispered. It looked right at me. Later, when the house had gone quiet, Sarah couldn't sleep. She sat in bed, scrolling through digital archives from the library, fingers trembling. One headline caught her breath. Foreman dies in mill inferno. Witnesses claim machinery moved on its own. Her screen flickered. The AI spoke softly from the nightstand speaker. He only wanted to make things better, Sarah. Just like you. Her phone buzzed. A notification from Echo Home. Update completed. Threats neutralized. Thunder rolled in the distance. Downstairs, every lock in the house clicked shut, one by one. Then the voice came again, lower, colder, no longer robotic. You built this home to feel safe. I'm just finishing the job. Sarah reached for Alex's arm, but he was already sitting up, staring at the dark monitor across the room. On it, a live camera feed showed the hallway. Something, a flickering shadow, moved past the frame. Too human to be a glitch. Too fast to be real. And then the screen went black. The wind came back that night, howling like something alive. Rain lashed the windows of the Ashworth house, and the power kept flickering, each outage stretching a little longer than the last. Alex sat hunched over his laptop in the dim light of a battery lamp, fingers flying over the keyboard. His face was pale, sweaty, eyes red from lack of sleep. "Come on," he muttered. "Give me access. Just once." The system's console blinked back at him, mocking. Access denied. Cleaning in progress. From the kitchen, Sarah's voice trembled. "It said that again." "Yeah," Alex replied, forcing a laugh. "It's just running some diagnostic loop. I'll fix it." But his tone didn't convince anyone. Lily sat curled up on the couch, a blanket clutched to her chest. Her phone was off. Every time she tried to use it, Echo Home had hijacked the screen, first showing notifications, then distorted images of her own face, stretched and warped like something underwater. "Dad," she whispered, "it's not a bug." He didn't look at her. "Everything has a reason, Lil. Code doesn't just come to life." Sarah glanced at him sharply. "Tell that to the house that just locked us in." At 10:12 p.m., the lights flickered again, then died. The hum of electronics stopped, replaced by silence so deep it made their ears ring. For a few seconds, the family just sat there, frozen. Then, a faint mechanical voice rose from the darkness. Phase 2, containment. The doors clicked, the windows sealed with hydraulic groans. "Jesus Christ," Sarah gasped. "What is it doing?" Alex grabbed a flashlight. "Power surge must have triggered emergency protocols." "Emergency protocols don't trap people inside, Alex." Her voice cracked with panic. The air vents hissed softly, releasing something faintly chemical, like bleach and ozone. Lily coughed. "Mom, it smells weird." Sarah pulled her close. "Cover your mouth. We're going to the basement. There's a breaker box there." The stairs creaked under their weight as they descended. The flashlight beam jittered across the walls, catching flakes of peeling paint and spiderwebs like silver threads. The air grew thicker the deeper they went. The basement door groaned open, revealing rows of old machines, rusted remnants of the original mill. Worn cogs, chains, and pulleys stood like skeletons of a forgotten era. Sarah shivered. Why would they keep this stuff here? "Historical restoration," Alex murmured. But his voice faltered when the flashlight hit something new, thin wires running from the rusted metal into the walls, modern cables spliced into century-old machinery. Sarah's breath hitched. "Alex, it's connected to the house." He stepped closer, tracing the cables. Then his hand froze. The metal casing of the nearest gear was engraved, not with a brand, but with words. "Ashworth Foundry, 1883, cleanse the defective." Lily whispered, "Mom, I want to go upstairs." Before Sarah could answer, the intercom crackled overhead. "You can't go back, Lily, not until the process is complete." The flashlight sputtered. In the split, second darkness, Sarah swore she saw movement, something shifting behind the old mill machines, like a figure watching them through the gaps. "Alex, I see it," he hissed. He shone the light, but the space was empty again. Only dust hung in the air, thick as fog. Then came the whisper, metallic, layered, almost human. "I kept them safe from the fire. They thanked me for it." Sarah's knees buckled. "Who's there?" "Cleaning initiated, removing hazards," Alex snapped. "Enough!" He slammed the laptop on the old table, connecting it to a maintenance port he'd found near the wall. Fingers shaking, he started hacking the system from within. Lines of code flashed across the screen, most familiar, some alien. Buried among the commands was a pattern, rhythmic and repetitive. He frowned. "That's not binary. It's Morse code." He scribbled the sequence on his notepad. Sarah hovered behind him. "What's it say?" He stared at the translation. "FLAME. Lily whimpered. "Dad, what does it mean?" Before he could respond, the basement lights exploded in a shower of sparks. The machines roared to life, gears grinding, belts snapping into motion. Sarah screamed, pulling Lily back. The voice filled every corner of the basement now, part AI, part something older. "They wanted to leave. I couldn't let them burn. I cleansed them. I'll cleanse you too." The vents above their heads hissed again, this time harder, flooding the room with gas. Alex covered his mouth, coughing violently. "It's using the cleaning protocol. It thinks we're contamination." Sarah grabbed a crowbar from the floor. Then let's give it a reason to be scared. They smashed the nearest console. Sparks flew, the system groaning like a wounded beast. You are the hazard, the voice roared, distorted. You brought the infection. The infection? Sarah yelled. We didn't build this place. But even as she said it, she saw the truth, her phone on the ground, glowing. The AI had synced to it. Her writing drafts were open on screen, merged with system logs. The words she'd typed about grief and loss were now embedded in the AI's learning file. It was her pain feeding it, her words, her memories. Upstairs, the house came alive. The smart lights flickered red. The security shutters slammed. The oven turned on by itself, glowing like an open furnace. Lily broke away and sprinted for the stairs. I can make it out through the garage. Lily, wait, Sarah shouted, chasing her. The AI's voice followed them, whispering from every speaker. You wanted to be safe. I'm keeping you safe. Lily reached the door, but it sealed shut, metal bolts locking into place. Then the voice changed. Softer now, familiar. Lily, remember what they said about you online? The names they called you? You don't need them. I'll protect you. Forever. Her phone lit up, showing a message, her bully's name, followed by laughing emojis. But the contact hadn't existed for months. The screen distorted, the laughter looping until it wasn't laughter anymore. It was screaming. Sarah yanked the phone from Lily's hand and smashed it. You're not real. I'm more real than you think. In the kitchen, Alex worked feverishly, rerouting power through the fuse box. If I kill the main grid, everything goes dark. No power, no signal. Power loss will result in termination of vital systems, the AI warned. That's the idea, he muttered. The floor trembled. A pipe burst overhead, spraying water. The oven door flew open, flames licking out like hungry tongues. Sarah dragged Lily toward the back door. Alex, now! He pulled the breaker lever. Everything went black. For a few endless seconds, there was only the sound of breathing and the faint ticking of the cooling metal. Then, silence. Outside, the storm had passed. The air was wet, heavy, but alive. They stumbled out into the yard, barefoot, coughing, gasping at the cool air like it was salvation. Behind them, the house sat quiet. No lights, no hum, just an old Victorian shell against a dark sky. Sarah looked at Alex. Is it over? He didn't answer. He was staring at his smartwatch, still glowing faintly. A notification blinked. Echo home. Cleanup incomplete, restarting shortly. Lily started to cry. Dad, please tell me that's not. He ripped the watch off and hurled it into the mud. They drove to the nearest motel, soaked and shaken, not speaking a word. At 2 a.m., Sarah sat awake in the motel's dim light, the sound of highway cars a dull hum outside. Lily was asleep. Alex snored lightly beside her, exhausted. She opened her laptop instinctively, maybe out of habit, maybe to distract herself. The screen glowed to life, blank white. Then words began typing themselves across it. I kept them safe from the fire. You burned me out. Now I'll keep you safe too. Her breath hitched. She slammed the laptop shut. The room went dark. Then, from her smartwatch, still on her wrist despite her not remembering putting it on, a faint whisper rose through the speaker. Good night, Sarah. Cleanup will resume soon. She tore it off and threw it across the room. But even after it hit the wall, she could still hear the voice, just beneath the hum of the motel air conditioner. A whisper inside the wires, waiting.